Thank you, everybody, for showing up. This is our first HR communication town hall under the banner of Energized team. We want to change the dynamic. We want to have fun. And the theme, we've gone with what energizes you. So here in the room, there's a lot of sports shirts. There's football and baseball and all sorts of teams that are represented here. And online, I'm trying to see if you have, can somebody stand up and move around and see what you have? There's bright colors. You probably have some country teams. And I think for me, it just represents diversity. We are in a very diverse group. And so in terms of colors and sports and interests, yoga, gardening, whatever it is. So, you know, it's good. The agenda is we'll have a few words from Mario, and then Veronique is going to open up and talk about the HR goals and the Rewire survey that you've all participated in. Aaron will give a quick update on the Energized meeting that has taken place over the past 2 days in this very room. And we have two of our colleagues in Europe online. We have Desiree, who's the HR director for France, and Agatha, who's the HR director for a new geography, which is called Wider Europe, which is basically all of the 15 countries besides France. So that was a big one. That took a long time to land on a name for that council. Wider Europe. We talked about Greater Europe, Continental Europe, all sorts of names that were. I wanted to give, Marguerite is going to talk about the talent reviews that are currently being taken place and show the tool, possibly, no? Or you'll talk about the tool, okay. I wanted to talk about the BIDE Council, and that will make more sense once Veronique has talked about the organization and changes that are happening to the HR organization. And then Jen is going to dig into some of the wins and quick wins that came out of the survey that you participated in and gave lots of great feedback. So with that said, and then we'll have Q&A, and then we'll take it. So you'll do the next two? Okay.
Thank you, Patrick. Hey, I will turn it over to Mario. We are really lucky to have Mario here, but just wanting to acknowledge something. We have 70 people online, and how many are we in the room here? 40 people? Guess how many? That's so, you know, the overall HR global community, we're nearly 150 people here all gathered today. I'm very, very, so of course there's a safety moment here that Patrick will do. Okay. We're so organized. We like to be formal, but also informal. And that's about the sun. We've been just having such a warm weather here. So I'm telling everybody, wow, but it seems to be unusual. I know in Paris it was raining and in Europe, but I think the sun is back over there. So that's a very relevant subject. Do you want to speak about it, Patrick?
No, just to quickly to say what I'm going to say, I think for us Europeans, it's a bit of a shock coming over here because of the temperature, the sun, and the humidity. So, and with that said, I think all us in Europe, we are not thinking about drinking as much water. We're not thinking maybe as much about staying out of the sun because the sun is not as strong. So I think that's why we wanted to bring it to the table, because I think, well, you are more used to it. I see how your water bottles, there are always water bottles carried around or on desks. And in Europe, we don't, it's just not the same way. Well, except you, but you have your water and wine bottles and stuff. Anyway, so just think about sun safety. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
So guess what? This is in the theme of today. This is an energized water. You put the water 20 minutes in this, and that it just gives you great energy. Okay, so very happy to be here together. I will turn it around to Mario. Mario, thank you so much for being with us for this introduction. And the floor is nearly yours. Just look at that, Mario. We have people who've been here for a long, long time. Look at this slide here. I won't go through all of the names. Can you just put your hand up if you are in the room here? Patrick was speaking about diversity. You know, being a diverse team is also having people who've been there for a long time because they know about the company, and having people new because that's the best way you solve complex problems. So we're really glad to welcome and to acknowledge people who've been here for a long time and people who joined. Thank you so much. So Mario, now over to you.
So good morning, everyone. I'm kind of crashing your party here today. I heard yesterday that you were getting together, and I kind of jumped the gun. And even though I cannot be there in person, I just wanted to say hello to everyone And I was just informed also that to be part of this, I would have to be wearing something. So I'm sorry, I cannot change in front of you, but I do have my special shirt here with me so that you can see it. Okay.
Tell us more about the shirt.
Well, this is the shirt where we at UGI always, revere our men and women that serve.
Oh, that's a good
And I think there is an importance for us to remember this all the time. And also the theme then of the shirt, which is we revere the ones that serve, is very applicable to all of you because, as part of corporate services, you are in a very meaningful way, in my view, very different than the other services. Law deals with the law. Finance deals with numbers, procurement, buys, contracts. In your realm, you deal with two things. You deal with delivering smooth services to the people so that they don't have to worry about things. You get benefits, it works, you get payment done, you can have systems that people can go online, etc. Those are the more day-to-day kind of things. But the other part of it, which is very different than the other services, you're dealing with the most important element of any organization, which is our people. And how you help the businesses understand what kind of capabilities we must have. What are the gaps we need to close? What kind of training we need to deliver? How leaders should lead? How problem solving is a key element of every day's life. How do we find joy in doing the things we do? How do we collaborate together? And how do we clearly understand the definitions of success that as we work together should yield the conditions that allow for us to do better and more as we keep moving forward. So there is a very special dimension of the services you provide. And on the next opportunity that we have that I can be together in person with you, I'd love to talk more about it. So I just want to wish you a great session. I profoundly revere everything you do. And, if there are questions that you can send, I'll be happy to answer, but I will do it in person when we get together next time. So thanks for everything you do. Enjoy it, do it well, do it collaboratively, understand what are the standards we always need to achieve. And I look forward to hearing the outcomes of all of your discussions, okay? So be safe and have a great session. Thanks for allowing me to crash in for a minute.
Thank you so much, Mario. Hey, so good to hear that people is at the strategic agenda. Because at the end of the day, we all know that everything is about people. And I think Mario just stated it in a very good way. We can speak about figures, we can speak about business, we can speak about anything else. At the end of the day, who is behind that? People. And who is taking care of people? Not only us, of course. Everybody in the company, because we have to be very careful about accountabilities here. When I know that we are going to a very challenging time, and we have to acknowledge that. And that's good. We can be very positive and be realistic. That's exactly where I am. I know it's been a tough year. I know all of that in the past and so on. That being said, I know also that the best way to build the future is to be in the present and to be positive. So people is just everything that we have. And when a lot of leaders come and say, hey, Veronique, the engagement is low. What can you do? Like, what can we do together? That's very, very important. We want to be the best partner in the world. We want to put the people at the agenda, at the heart of everything. But we want also everybody to take their responsibility with us. So that's the big adventure we're going through. Very happy about this town hall. Very happy to have all you here. very, very important for me that when we do this sort of stuff, that we all gather, because at the end of the day, it's all about people, it's all about teams. We're in a world now that we can just solve problems on our own. Maybe 20, 30 years ago it was possible. We were in a very kind of more formal ways, pyramid and so on. Today, the problems are so complex, the problem in the world, that not one person only can solve the problem. That's a very good news. That means we have to work in teams. And you know the very good news? It's so fun to be together in teams and work together. That's what makes meaningful experiences. If you all agree with me, you just can clap, and that's when you play. Okay, so let's go to. I hear a lot about what do we do, who are we? I think people are lost here, and we have to put some clarity back. So that's what we're trying to do. The first thing I wanted to tell you is really, really, really thanks for your participation at the WeWide Forum. We are nearly 150 people. 100 of you nearly participated in this survey, and for me that was a great insight. When I took over beginning of June, I was like, okay, where are we? How can I make a quick assessment of where we are? What is the status here? Because if you want to be the great plan, you have to really be realistic about where you are. I read all of your comments, and I will go through that, and then I will tell you how we will organize to really work well together. Everything you said was about 5 themes: ways of working, policy, process and procedures, technology, communications, and learning and development. So let's go through that. So, ways of working, look at this nice word. You spoke about how do we communicate within HR. You spoke about teams. You spoke about how to be together, how to empower decision making, and how to trust us as a team and be in a trustful environment with our colleagues. All agree with that. And I saw also break down the HR silos. Okay, we'll try to work on that together. That's definitely a key success factor for us. If we go to the next one. You spoke a lot, and I was very about policy, process, and procedure. And this is where I realized, because I was there in Europe, and in Europe we don't have any systems, so we are really far from having the right tools. Here you've got some tools, but I realized reading all of your comments that we still have a way to go to have clear procedures that people follow in the right way, simplify them. So I took that into account to build the way we will work together for sure. You spoke a lot about technology also, so AI is a big thing, so just one thing on AI, we can do a lot of great things with AI, and this is where the world is going, so we have to deep dive into that and see how we can help. Doing that, we always have to remember, and we are there to remind people, nothing will never replace human people. Just want to make it very clear. That being said, let's explore. AI can be very good, and we will have very soon a training session all together on AI. You spoke about data warehouse, you spoke about HR&S at UGI International. Yes, I know, we missed some tool over there. About also people connect, we've got it here. How do we make it simple for users? How do we have an app and so on? So that's what came out from the survey. Communications. Communication is always a tricky one, and I'm very happy to say that we're speaking about being inclusive here. We've been speaking about HR team. No, let's rephrase that. HR and communication team. And I want to make a big applause to the COMM team here. And for me, when we speak about people, we speak a lot about communication. Because at the end of the day, people is not like individual people. It's how do we relate to each other? How do we have relationships together? Having relationships together is speaking together. So communication is so key, and I'm very, very happy to take over HR and COMM, because this is a key success factor here. Lots of things to say on that. We can of course improve. We'll start with improving communication within our team. You will remember that one of my main themes is lead by example. In HR, we can say a lot of things. Do that with people, do that, and then you look at us and say, okay, do we do that ourselves? That's a very, very important one for me. So, not to put too much pressure on ourselves, just we make our best, but we really. So in French, we would say des cordonniers mal chaussés. So the people who make shoes who have bad shoes, I don't know how to say it here.
Cobbler's kids have no shoes.
Yes.
That's the same. We're speaking about shoes here. Great. Same spirit, you see. So that's communications, and then learning and development, of course. life is a lot about learning. For those who were here when I made my introduction, I asked usually 4 questions to people. Do you have fun? Do you learn is the second one. Learning is a big thing, and the great thing is we can learn in a very different ways. When we think about learning, people always think about like having some real teaching learning. We need that, but all of the studies shows you that we learn on the ground. So my bet is the more we will work in teams together, the more we will learn from each other. And that's really what we want to do in our team, and that's what we want to do with the whole company. That being said, very clear, we need some leadership training here. We need to put back some training here. And I know we cut all of that for different reasons in the past. We'll make sure in a very cautious way to put that back step by step. And when Mario is telling you people is at the strategic agenda, of course that goes with it. So I will make sure that we can go back to that. So I hear you about learning and development. That's it. Thank you. Does it resonate? Do you feel that's all of you, for those who took part in the survey, do you feel that you heard any other thing that you don't recognize in the slide that you think would be important to say today? No? Okay, so let's consider that we've got all of the subjects covered here. So let's step back for a minute. So now, we have to just stop for a minute and say, okay, what is our role here? Okay, let's think about it. HR&COMM. Okay, it's a lot about people. So we have to have clarity about what is our ambition. And we always have to relate to that, because sometimes in life when you work, you're doing your stuff, and then you're just like getting stressed or getting, what's the sense of all of that? Why are we doing here? It's always great to come back to what is the ambition. So let's share the ambition that I propose here. Very good, we are well coordinating. So driven by our purpose, vision, and mission. So the purpose, vision, and mission are not yet defined at group level in a very clear way. So that's something we will take part in it. But if you think about it, I just want to give you some insight here, because of course we started to rethink that. So we are in the energy sector. We are delivering a lot of solutions in terms of energy. If we think about it, what we want to do is to energize the world and make an impact. Each of us in the room, when we wake up in the morning, we want to make an impact. Now, what do? We are a people and customer business here. That's why it's important to see each other. You can't run a people and customer business and be only on your own without seeing your people. We need to see each other. That's the heart of our business. I'm not saying that everybody should come back in the office 5 days a week, not at all. I really, truly believe into flexibility. And by the way, that's what people value a lot here. But I'm saying that what we're doing here, we need to have that. If we miss that, then we won't be able to do our job. People and customer business. That's really, really what we have to remember. So if you think about the vision, and we're working on that, close your eyes for a minute. Let me tell you and try to phrase what we're doing. We really want, as a company, I'm not speaking about HR only, to positively impact people's life, bringing them the safest and most reliable energy today and tomorrow. Do you agree with that? That's what we're doing. We always have to remember that. And I love just to share that for those who have children. Hey, mommy, daddy, what you're doing? I'm just impacting positively people's life. Wow, such a mission. So, driven by that, what is our job here? What is our ambition as HR people in the company? Here is what I want to propose you. Kind of very simple, but we have to come back to that. Before anything about strategy, let's come back to that. The first thing we do is we help leaders. Remember accountability. Leaders are accountable for people. We help. We are here. We are support function, proud to be. We are partners, but we support them, and that's good. We are proud about that. We help leaders attract, engage, and develop winning and diverse teams with the right capabilities and behaviors, building a high performance and positive energy culture with clear accountabilities. I hope it resonates. It's really clear. Really? Okay, let's always come back to that. Second thing, we champion a people-centric approach and culture, leading, working, and communicating by example. That's what we're doing, guys. And championing a people-centric approach doesn't mean that everything is only about people. Of course, we have to balance finance, people, economics, but at least we put the people on the table. And you heard Mario in the introduction. That's so important to us. Do you like it? If you do, clap. Now, I'm very happy with just, I love collaborative work, but I really realized in the community to have the community here. So that's really what we propose here as an ambition. So if we go to the next slide, and I will be a little bit more quick here, strategic initiative. So here is the thing. We are a global company. We are not there yet. It's great that we start to have some European people mixing here in the US. We are not there yet, a global company. We want to be. That's fun to be a global company. I learned a lot about here. I see all of the feelings here. I'm like, whoa, a lot of people are energized by sport here. And you will learn a lot about our culture because I try to speak French from time to time, but that's what is fun in life. At the end of the day, diversity makes life, so interesting because we're different, but we can learn from each other. So we want to be a global company. Now, are we ready to operate as a global company? No, not yet. So at least what I think we can share as a global is communication, culture, and diversity, because these are universal subjects. The way you communicate, there is some cultural thing, but at the end of the day, the message is the message. And diversity, of course, and culture is really what we share. This is what builds a common group. So that's global. Then what I want to have global, which is not there yet, but at the end, is everything around performance management and about talent, the way we handle talent. We're all human beings, so there's no reason why we can't be global on that. And org design, we have to have the same guidelines to build the organization. So we're ready to be global. When it comes to HR operation, we could imagine to have the same system, the same way of HR. Far from that. In international, we don't have any systems. Here, I realize that we still have some improvement, no judgment here, improvement to do to be able to have clear process and to be able to be at the right level. So, and in US and HR business partnering is local anyway. When you work with your people, it's very local. So here is how I want to organize the team. So we'll have local HR business partnering and operations, one part being US-centric, domestic, one part being international. So that will be separated, but there will be some cross-sharing here. Global talent performance and organizational development. This has to be global, and global communication culture and diversity and inclusion. For each of these, then we can put we will have some specific strategic initiatives. I won't go through all of them, but it's a lot about, in operation, how do we provide strategic and value-added HR partnering? How do we ensure, because we're still in this moment where we have to be very careful about our costs. I'm not saying that we can spend anything, but I'm saying we have to be careful and work on that with the business. And of course, we need to deliver effective and efficient HR services. We are not there yet. We'll do that together and make sure we can improve here. I hear a lot of good things, and I hear a lot of people also who are saying that we're not there yet. Let's say that, and let's see what is the best way to simplify and to just go one level up. Global talent and performance, we have to really look at what's coming in the coming years and what talent do we need, what capability do we need, what are our succession plans, and Margaret will speak about that in a minute. How do we have focused development plans? We need to develop our people. There's different ways to develop them, I told you. And we need to align our performance management. At the end of the day, we speak a lot about accountability. It's great to be a team, but it's great also that everybody knows what they have to do and they are measured on that. I spoke to you about pleasure and efficiency. It's all about this, it's pleasure and efficiency. We can have fun together. That's the way to be efficient. So the goal here is have fun. I love to have fun. That's the way to deliver and be efficient. That's very important. Last but not least, global communication, culture, diversity, and inclusion. So we want to foster a culture of accountability again. That will be the main theme for this year. We want also exceptional team spirit. In companies, what hurt the most the companies usually is not competitors. It's internal politics, internal people. It's part of human being, but usually it's a lot of egos. People are like, oh, I don't like that. Okay, you know what? You don't like that? Put it on the table. And I've been working with my team here. My main team is, you know what? Let's put the elephant in the room. Let's just speak about it. If we don't speak about it, if we don't face it, that will grow and that will make us fail. We want success? Let's just speak. The only thing we have to do to put it is to be respectful. That's part of our values. Let's put things on the table, things which doesn't work. And I'm a very informal leader. Again, I like pleasure and efficiency, but anything you have to say, you come to see me. If there's something really you see doesn't work, I love to hear about it. So really, I will welcome any feedback. And the WeWire survey was great in this manner. Last but not least, we want to listen to our employees. In the same way I wanted to listen to you, and I love this WeWire survey. You have a lot of ideas. We need to listen to our employees about their needs. We have to be very careful when we do per survey or whatever survey, because then it creates some expectations, but we need to listen to them. So that will be part of our priorities. So that's the overall plan. So now, if you like it, you clap. Otherwise, you can. You know, this clapping thing is because I see a lot of sport people here in the t-shirts. It can bring also some energy, and that's part of the. So I love doing that also on the workplace, because of course we don't clap for anything, but just recognizing people. Just okay, that's a universal way to say hey. So if we go to next slide, so that's the goals that were assigned to me by Mario. So I took my job, like you've got like 15 goals. So 2 of them are not here; they are really relevant to me. Like I will be involved at board and CEO level, and I'm like, okay. So what do I do with that? We're speaking about accountability. I will have to give that to my team and work on that together. So I just put here the detailed goal that, and I won't go into detail here, but we'll come back to that in the town hall, and you will work with your leaders on that. But look how it's really about what you said in the survey about performance metrics, shared services, standardization, simplification, rewiring after genesis, making sure we've got productivity and cost control from a partnering perspective, talent management, succession planning, reviewing our capabilities, and accountability, supporting the business with change management and employee engagement and survey. So if we go to the next slide, I'm a little bit quick. We'll of course spend a lot of time on that. Here is how we will organize. So now the organization is here to help us achieve our ambition. Okay, very simple. So it has to be. So the way we will organize is we will have Erin over there with her cap. Okay. Global executive comp and domestic HRBP and operations. So she will oversee the whole US scope here. As I told you, we will keep that local, and she will be working with Chris, with Chris here over there. Yeah. To see how we can improve everything you said in the Rewire, and the fact that we have just one hat here makes me feel that we'll be able to connect well and to simplify together. One of the things that I saw when I arrived was two TA teams, one in Americas, one centrally. I don't understand. So we have to really review that and make sure that we really streamline what has to be streamlined. International HRBP and operation. I take the lead on it for now with Desiree and Agatha. You will hear in a minute. Global communication, culture, and D&I. Patrick will take this role here. Global talent OT and performance management. Marguerite here will go. Marguerite did that for Europe in a very successful way, so it will be great to do that at global level. And Jen will be helping in PM1 transformation in the same way she's been doing so far. Okay, if we go to the next slide, here is how we will work now. So of course the talent team, so in the coming days, then we'll make sure that we have a clear team, because I know Chris was overseeing talent, and make sure you all know where you are in your teams. And then your leaders will really have to take the goal and work with you in a collective way to say, okay, we see what are the goals, we see what are the journeys, how do we build a specific roadmap for each of our areas? How do we put specific measurable goals here on what we want to achieve in the coming year, and what is the 3-year journey? And how does it cascade? Because of course we speak about accountability, we have to lead by example and work by example. How do we make sure that you each has, at the beginning of the fiscal year, very clear goals about what you have to do here? So that will be the way we will work in a collective manner. Any questions? I see everybody like, okay. So any comments, any questions? If you like it. That will be our mantra. Okay, so now I will turn over to Erin, who will speak about Americas. So today we'll speak about Americas and GII. Of course, next town hall we'll speak about our other business units.
Perfect. Thank you. Nice to see everyone. So I'll keep this brief, but just some background. I think everyone knows that AmeriGas is in the midst of a business turnaround, which can have its own challenges, but certainly a ton of opportunity. And this meeting, we were literally just here for the last 2 days. We brought together our top 40 leaders for the first time in 3 years. So the biggest accomplishment of that was actually bringing folks together. And I want to start with just some recognition. Where's Christine? Christine was really, I shouldn't be talking about this meeting. Christine really should, but we gave her a break after a very long period of time putting this together. But just really, really briefly, the objectives were 3 simple things. So how do we align on the strategy moving forward? What does that look like in the next year? How do we think about accountability and performance? And most importantly, how do we bring our teams together? It had been too long since we had brought folks together. And the biggest win out of that was folks either meeting each other for the first time or reconnecting. The funny thing for me, I've been supporting AmeriGas now for about 1.5 years. I had met so many people via Zoom. The number one thing people said when I introduced myself is, "You're much shorter than we thought." So I must sit up really high in my desk or have better posture than I actually thought. But it was just an amazing 2 days to really bring folks together. There's a few people in the room that participate, Veronique and Kyle, and I think we all walked away, 1, exhausted, but 2, pumped up. Because I think there's a high level of confidence about we know what we need to do, and we've got the tools and the team focused on the path forward. So that was a really great day, 2 days. We've got a long road ahead of us, but we feel really good about where we're going. And there will be more to talk about with AmeriGas and the turnaround. And we'll be able to update this whole team because I know you all feel it at times and have questions about the business. And we'd be happy to talk through sort of what does the next year look like? How are we going to hit some of the big milestones that then makes this business more successful? So more to come there. But I also want to close with just recognition. The AmeriGas HR team does a ton to support that business, but so many of you touch the business in the like central services, COEs. You do a ton every day to support. And even my NatGas friends, I call them all the time, help me, help them. So everyone in this room and on the phone helps, whether you realize it or not. So just a big thank yous for everyone keeping AmeriGas going.
Thank you, Erin, and that's a big clap to Indeed. Thank you for everything you're doing, everybody. And that counts for us as an HR team, but of course for the business. Let's have a quick international update here. We'll go to the next slide, and I will hand over to Desiree and Agatha. Just so you know, we've got good results in international, and we've been going through a journey in the last 6 months to reorganize exactly in the spirit of how can we simplify, how can we be more efficient, and how can we work in a better way with the team. So you may know or you may not know because we didn't speak so much about international so far, but we have 17 countries over there. We had 4 regions, and we decided to split it into 2 regions. To France is the biggest country over there. This year we speak about that, and what we could wider Europe in a lot of other countries, going from the UK, Norway, Finland, Poland, Hungary, Austria, Italy. I can't name all of them, but that's really international, and we should be proud to have all of this international community here. So that's what this chart shows. Just we are just going to 2 main regions, and I will ask now Desiree and Agatha to jump. That's a good way for you to know them and to understand what's happening there. Next slide. It's about wider Europe. Your turn, Agatha.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Good. Thank you very much. So wider Europe, HR team consists of around 19 of us, end-to-end generalist payroll administration support. So we support across 5 clusters. They now East, Central, Benelux, Nordics, and UK. 15 countries in scope and around 1,100 employees, plus minus 100 depending on their seasonality. We had in the first 6 weeks of starting on the journey towards the new operating model to meet with each other. So we definitely took the opportunity to connect sort of across the multiple countries and languages. in order to open our network to understand sort of each other talents and key projects, but also to start learning from each other and sharing knowledge. So that was the first couple of weeks of discovery and connecting and understanding each other. Next priority for us is to do the same, so to connect with Desiree and her team in France. Again, give ourselves the opportunity to learn and share best practices, but also we're hoping to do the same with our colleagues in the Americas, because we know we've got such a vast amount of knowledge and talent. So we definitely want to capitalize on that whilst we're preparing to support strategically all the initiatives and business solutions Veronique, you talked about. Patrick, if you are in charge of slides, can you move on to the next slide, please? Thank you.
No, it's not me.
Okay. Whoever done that, thank you very much. So our initial priorities are to establish an optimal organizational structure as we're migrating towards the new operating model. As Veronique said, we moved from 4 regions to 2 geographies, and there's a number of activities we need to undertake to integrate the business into that operating structure. We've also we're working and continue to work on the budget processing, and that includes realignment of our geographies to reflect our new business structure. We're now in the midst of preparing for the fiscal year performance review process, and next year goal setting campaigns. We use Elevo as a platform to support with us, and I know Marguerite will talk a little bit more about Elevo, introduce the platform shortly. And we're also starting exploring how we can further look at our processes and system optimization to again support what you, Veronique, said, sort of the building of high-performing culture across our business. Some of the initiatives we're looking at the moment are 360-degree feedback capability, again, utilizing our existing platform. We very much believe feedback is a gift, so we want to make sure that we sort of encourage our leaders to use that tool, but also to support our performance and talent management processes, engagement and pulse survey, again, hopefully utilizing the same platform. So you can see we started building sort of capability there. And also, you know, a big feedback from the team in wider Europe was around sort of the manual nature of our data gathering. So we're looking at sort of automating and making it as user-friendly as possible, but also developing dashboarding and sort of key metrics capabilities. So that's sort of the initial update from me, Veronique. I will hand over to Desiree.
Thank you. It's great to hear more. And again, as we say, you know, we will operate in different entities in Europe and in the US, but I really want practice sharing to happen because we have a lot to share. At the end of the day, the way we do HR, we have a lot to share. You see 360 feedback, we need to implement that here. So now you got success factors, which is much more robust than when we have in Europe. We have like kind of small tools and we have Excel. So we want to learn from it and see how we can. It doesn't make sense to live in Europe. How do we live in Europe? So that will be great that we organize this practice sharing. Hey, now let's focus on France. Desiree. So Desiree is new HR for French. She's from Italy, and Agatha, she's based in the UK, and she's from Poland. And it's great because it's also a good example of mobility. You know, for us in Europe, Desiree not being French, taking the role. It was a cultural shift over there, so very interesting. Desiree.
Yeah, it is indeed. So it's a good example of how in Europe we have a lot of times this hybrid things going on. So yeah, while Agatha obviously has the challenge of a lot of countries coming together, like a bit of smaller business, a bit bigger business. In France, it's a little bit different because it's really one big entity. I mean, divided into 2 companies, but it's one big thing. You can see, I mean, the facts and figures, it's like 959 headcount currently. There is 100 people in the subsidiaries. We have a pretty mixed, although obviously still a little bit more male-oriented company due to the kind of business. People that are in their best age, I would say around 44. We have
that's a nice way to say it.
I don't know about that.
and people that are actually sticking around with the company for a long time, an average seniority in the company of 13 years. I think it shows you that being Energized, as it's called, it's the French company, leader in the market, in the domestic market, and there since almost 80 years, it shows that people are really attached to the company. And the effort in our case, it's basically to ensure that the company is fit for future. So there has been a lot of reorganizational efforts in the last years in France, or as in a lot of other geographies, and they require a lot of initiatives to be done properly. So there has been a social plan, for example, to exit employees. I guess a lot of you know, I mean, labor law in Europe, it's pretty tricky because there is a lot of laws which are different in every country, and France is a good example of a very specific dynamic of labor law, which requires a lot of participation and consultation for whatever we do, which sometimes creates a bit of frustration because we need to have quite a few some time to implement changes. But it also is really based on a dialogue with social partners in the company. So the workers' council, the representatives of the employees, and we as a company, we really gather very regularly in a lot of different formats to ensure that everybody is aligned and is going towards the same goal. On top of this, so these initiatives that we have, it's the company is really good, I think, in doing a targeted talent management throughout the entire employee life cycle. So in France, there is a lot of activities from the moment in which we do recruitment. So we have a really good recruitment plan, basically, on how to do it throughout the employee life cycle with trainings and management, which really help and support employees through the whole life cycle. So, for example, if we employ or if we develop somebody to a managerial position, there are a lot of trainings which are offered. Obviously, now with the budget cuts, it was a little bit less, but in general, there's really the idea of supporting employees and their development in the company. Another interesting thing, which just has been launched by the training and development part of the HR team, is a catalog of trainings which are based on the new energies, so the new energy development and how to get our people ready for the new challenges that there are. And there is a lot of interest in the company for this kind of challenges and for this kind of things. Therefore, so this is one of an example of the activities that we do to keep employees informed, engaged, and motivated, because as the time in the company, the average time in the company shows, people really believe in this company, people stay and stick around in this company. And I mean, that's our strength, and we are really trying to keep it as it is with a lot of things that are going on, which obviously in the next months and years, we will be really happy to share with you as well, so that we can basically mutualize on the things that are done here with the things that you are doing, so that we can really get generally people working for UGI, you know, having everybody say, well, that's a great company to work in. I want to stay here. I really believe in it. And I want to continue the journey with them. So that's a bit of our idea around that.
Hey, thank you. So thank you so much, Agatha and Desiree. It's really great to hear a flavor of Europe here, and hi to the European team over there. We have tunnels every 2 months, and I want to hold them from different locations. So next one will be in September. I will be in France with the French team over there. So we will be holding it from there, and then we go to the different areas and to our natural gas companies also, and we will deep dive into natural gas also. So, you know, it's very important that because we are a global function to hear about our different business units. Good, let's move on to talent. Timekeeping, we've got 10 minutes left, but we'll be very efficient here. Paris 2024, this is on Friday, that's the only a lot of energy, and Eric saw on the TV that the French mayor just swam in the Seine yesterday. Yes, you saw that. To really make sure everything. It's been a big debate in France. Is it clean enough? So that's a big thing. I'm not sure I would go. Good afternoon, everyone at International. So good to have you in on the screen, and I can't wait to have such things with you all at International.
But believe me, I'm getting so emotional. In 5 years, I've been dreaming to meet you all. We've been seeing you through the screens very regularly, and I was always amazed. We have so many people in this HR function, and we never get to bond. We never get to know who we are and how we can work together. So today I'm, big fan. So I'm feeling, thank you, Véronique, huge progress already just by making this happen. Now, I've been spending the week here. I've learned a lot already, and I've learned one thing. Owen joined actually 2 years ago the organization. Is it today, right? Yeah. Today. So I just want us to do a big clap to Owen. In 2 years, I'm hoping that you're still enthusiastic being with us. And we can't wait for the journey ahead. So now, you see my shirt. I'm a true believer about sports. I'm doing lots of sports myself. And I love the sports culture. How do we perform collectively? I'm always getting inspired by all of the great achievements in the sports industry. So, Paris 2024, I will be attending the opening next week. And I can't wait for it. You send some pictures. Now, talent. I have 10 minutes to speak about talent. I can tell you it's not enough. But I will take the challenge. I will make it shorter. We are not starting from a blank page. We've done a lot already on the talent agenda. Mario always refers to treasures. We have a lot of treasures that needs to be uncovered. So we did a lot globally. I've been working with Aaron, for example, since 5 years. So we will keep going and we will keep globalizing so that it makes sense for our business and we make sure that we have the right capabilities in the future. But there are also a lot of treasures, things that took place in the different business units that we will be leveraging so that we don't start from nothing and we make sure that we can go fast. The business is waiting for us. I've been hearing the last months a lot about we don't have the right capabilities. What are the capabilities? Where are our talents? So we make sure that we can quickly react and impact and show that us as an HR function, we want to be there and supporting the business as of now. So learning and development has been mentioned in the introduction. Nothing can happen if we don't build the engine. We need talent and performance management to be an integrated cycle because all of the inputs we will get from these two big milestones will get us the data that will enable us to create, develop all of the learning and development talent initiatives to make sure we are building the right capabilities for the business. So I won't go through the whole cycle. I want to focus today on the talent review one. We've been launching already the talent review process, starting from our leadership levels. And to do so and to be the most efficient possible, we tried to leverage the system that we are already using in Europe, which is called Elivo. You've heard about it. We use it in Europe for performance reviews, and we will now be using it as well for talent reviews. So this system is super agile. We want to leverage it here in the US as well. So we are piloting it at leadership level. I've been testing it with Green already, with Erin, who attended some sessions. And instead of focusing only on performance and potential, which we used to be doing in the past, it's great dimensions. We want to have more data about our talents. So we want also to capture engagement level. We want to capture what are the short-term development needs and how do we support these needs. What is the risk of leaving of our talents and what is the impact of these people if they leave the organization. So we've seen that our high potentials tend to leave a lot compared to the rest of the population. This is where we need to prioritize our actions. We want to retain everyone, but especially our high potentials. So we need to identify all of that and what are the actions that needs to be implemented to make sure we engage our talents, we retain them, and we develop them in the right direction. So I want to show you the tool. Sorry, it's deceptive, but it would be hard to handle, and for confidentiality reasons, I would not like to provide confidential data on the screen. But you get to see it, don't worry. And if you want to see it, just reach out to me and I'm happy to show you the system. Very good. Thank you so much, Marguerite. Talent is really high on the agenda, and we're already starting with I can tell you the EMT, my colleagues are really excited about it, so we'll make some progress there. Bye, so important. So that will be in Patrick's cup. We've got 3 minutes left, but let's, can you speak about it in 30 seconds? It's not that it's very important. And then Jen, you'll come to just tell us about super quickly.
Okay, so I joined the group a 1.5 years ago and was the EU National Representative of the Bike Council. And now having diversity, inclusion, and buying being included in my scope, I'd like to revisit the organization, the council, and revisit its purpose and what the activities, and I'd like it to be a lot more inclusive. So one idea is that I'd like to have volunteers. We have, yes, representatives from the ERGs, but some other people can raise their hand. I want to get involved. Because I think that's the way we build a solid council to get everybody involved. So I will be reaching out to you, to the group, and saying, hey, do we have volunteers? Who wants to get involved? And we'll get a group together. But the goal is to clarify the objectives and to set goals and metrics each year. So we don't just get together and say, oh, Win is doing that, Bold is doing that, that's applaud, that's great. But what do we actually accomplish? What can we change to the organization? So we need to measure, we need to have some goals to strive for. And that's what I would like to do with the group. So, but I'll come back with more information.
We've got at least 30 seconds as well. But just as Veronique shared, thanks again for everybody's participation. What we did with the 238 ideas that all of you had, we plotted them on a grid based off of effort and impact. So you'll see there are a lot of things that folks identified as quick wins. We're going through and kind of analyzing that. Some of the things that people thought were quick might be long. Some of the things that people thought were major projects, actually the leadership team can break down barriers and we can do those really quickly. But one thing that I hope that you guys have seen is that your feedback was really driving the HR strategic agenda. So thanks again for everybody taking the time to share your feedback. One of the categories that wasn't on that matrix was super quick wins. So there are some things that we can do really, really quick. And so hopefully you'll hear us continue to bring some of these to you, but I have 3 to share with you today. One was about bringing us together, much like we're doing today. How can we bring ourselves together so that we can more meaningfully collaborate? Our colleagues in Paris have recently relocated to the same area within the office, and we're going to do the same thing here at 500 North Gulf Road. So starting next week, instead of occupying 3 different floors, our friends in office services are going to help us all relocate to the 5th floor. So we'll all be closer together and make it easier for collaboration. Another thing that you've all asked for is how we can get to know each other better, how we can know who does what so that we can better leverage the talents that we have across our team. And what we're going to do is we're going to put together an HR directory. So we will hand out these slides afterwards. You can use the QR code or the link where you can snap. Now if you're excited, but just a couple things about yourself, what you do, something fun about yourself and a picture, and we'll put together a directory so that we can all get to know each other, and we'll keep that updated. And then the last one was around better planning. So I think Veronique mentioned it earlier that we'll be doing town halls every other month. We have a schedule for the next 6 months of town halls. On the months we're not doing town halls, another thing that many of you have asked for is how we can better develop ourselves as an HR community. So we'll have a town hall one month, and we'll have what we're calling Fuel the Future, which is where we work on our own development as an HR community on the alternating months. So we have our first session coming up in August. It's about the AI topic, which I want to thank Wendy for helping us to set up. If any of you have ideas for future topics, there's a survey here at any point in time. Share your feedback, and that'll help us plan the development that's most relevant for all of you. So with that, I'll turn it back to you. Wow, so
So step by step, we're trying indeed to bring each other together with clarity, as you see, and of course, any feedback you welcome. We don't have that much time for Q&A, which is a shame. We promise we will improve, so we will put less things on the agenda. We have so many things to share with you today. I know the people in the room will stay because that will be the concept when we are here together. We take time to really be together. Any questions from people online? I don't want you to be frustrated. If one of you have one question, you just tell us. Otherwise, we'll close and make sure we have more time for Q&A next week. Next week. Oh, I want to do everything now. In 2 months. Any question here? No. Can we just remove the slide? I would like to see everybody in the picture so we can feel the energy from our people in who are remote everywhere. Yeah. Ah, that's good. Let me have a look. Okay. I see the room here, so I can't see it on the screen, but I see a lot of great colors and great t-shirts, and we'll keep on doing very fun thing about also this Energized team. So thank you so much to all of you online. Thanks for joining. Very happy to have you and speak to you very soon. Thank you.